Christmas season is upon us again, a time filled with love, family, celebration, and traditions. This week we headed to downtown Winston-Salem to experience something that's become a tradition for us. On the south side of the city, there is a bridge that takes you to a place that is back in the 1700s, Old Salem. In this small section of town, you'll find some of the most well-preserved historical buildings. It is also in this portion of town that the very first Krispy Kreme donut shop was made. When George Washington made his tour of the southern states, he took a special interest in this small area due to the many innovations that they had come up with, such as indoor plumbing. This village that we know as Old Salem today was originally established by the Moravian Church. Now, the Moravian Church was one of the first congregations that decided to separate itself from the government-backed Roman Catholic Church, and due to that, many of its founding members suffered great persecution, which is why they decided to come to America and establish their church here. Every year during the Christmas Advent season, the Moravian Church opens up one of the historical buildings and hosts what is known as the Christmas Candle Tea. While we waited for our turn to go into the tour, we had ourselves some coffee at a local coffee shop that was right down the street from where the tour was going to begin. The Christmas Candle Tea Tour takes you on a tour through 3 levels of the historical Single Brothers house. When doing this tour, you are going to have to deal with some steps. And if you're a tall guy like me, you are going to have to watch your head. The tour takes you back to the way of life during the 1700s. The costumes that you see people wearing are how it would be back during that time period.
But anyway, a couple of other things that you might notice as you go through that I want me to talk about. All of the workers here today are in traditional 18th century costumes. You'll see with the women's costumes and girls' costumes, well, we're calling them costumes, but it was what Moravians wore daily in the 17 and early 1800s. But they reflect the tradition of the choir system that the Moravian communities were organized by. You're in the Single Brothers house right now. That was one of the choirs that would have been in this community. Single boys, single men, young girls, then you had married folk, and then you had widows. And so when you see the women's outfits, we'll call them, the colors would designate if they were, it kind of reminds me of like the most eligible bachelorette, I guess. The young women that were ready to be married and not yet married had pink ribbons, and so you'll see that. If married women had blue ribbons, I guess it was their form of a wedding ring, so you knew. And then widowers wore white, and so you'll see that reflected in some of the costumes. It wasn't just for show or just to kind of see people on the street. Moravians worshipped that way at church on Sundays, and during the week when they met all together, they would sit in their choir. So families didn't sit together. You sat while the adult men sat together, or adult women sat together. And it was kind of like if you think of like Bible studies, when you get together in small groups, they would get together for devotionals in their choir system. The boys, when they turned a certain age, I'll have to ask, I'm assuming it's probably around 7, maybe 12, we'll find out, moved into this house, the Single Brothers house, and this is where they would have learned their trades before they went out and got married and started their own household. And so the organ that's behind us now originally was built to go in Home Moravian's chapel, and it was there for a number of years, and then it went into storage, and has been restored twice now. When they moved it into here, it wasn't obviously built for this room originally. It was a little too tall, so you can see the ceiling had to be reconstructed to accommodate the height of the organ. It is a tracker organ, is what we call it. It's fully mechanical. Now, obviously, we don't have to have someone running the bellows now, but they still work, right?
They really work.
Let's see. So, you would have had, probably the younger of the single brothers would get stuck with that duty, and you had to pump it by hand. However, we've added the electric motor. Everything else is as it should have been originally. So you'll hear things, move as you pull stops. It's actually physically engaging levers underneath the leather pads. So when I'm playing notes, it's all mechanical. If you're an organist, then it's different. If you're a pianist and you learn to play the organ, you have to learn a little bit different. If you're an organist and you come play this, it's different than what we play modern. The keyboards are smaller. If you got big fingers like mine, you're thumbing around on it. But it's really fun, interesting way to play. And a lot of the historical music we listen to still and play today was written for instruments like this. So enough talking about that. The group that's been here, there's some carols we haven't sung Morning Star yet, have we?
No, let's sing Morning Star.
Let's do that. Somebody said there was a soloist maybe in this group. Do we have a soloist?
Morning star, my soul's good light, tell me God is well my life. Jesus mine, in me shine, Jesus mine, fill my heart with light divine.
This is so gorgeous.
Merry Christmas.
After our time singing the Christmas hymns, we are led downstairs to what used to be the dining room of the Single Brothers house, where we watch the candle making process for the traditional Christmas love feast.
Candles, so we say thank you to the bees for the beeswax. So this is a jar of honey, and you can see the honeycomb here. Most of the time when you buy it in the stores now, you don't see it with the honeycomb, you just see the honey. So this is the part that we use. Once the beekeeper has squeezed out all the honey and shipped it off to us for our use in our tea or biscuits or English muffins or whatever, we want the part that's left. It's purified, and then we buy, this year I think we hauled about 200 pounds. So it comes to us in big blocks. The blocks are about like this and about this thick, so about an inch thick. And we use hatchets and we chop it up. Now beeswax is very sticky, so we mix it. And so we have folks who probably in February or March, they get together and they chop up the beeswax and they melt it. We get these big packages of beef fat, like this, beef tallow or beef fat. And we use 4 parts of the beeswax to 1 part of the beef tallow. And when you squeeze out that beef tallow, it is pretty gunky. But anyway, you mix all that together, and then it's very liquidy. And while it's liquidy, then you put it into those big 10-pound vegetable cans. That's what you hear bubbling over on the stove over there. You would never put a can of beeswax on your stove. It's in like a water bath over there. And so it's kind of bubbling away, so like a double boiler. And that's what's happening on the stove. So when we get to that part, we'll be ready. But there's something very important that I've not said anything about. What does every candle have? A wick. The most important part about a wick is that it burns. So we use 100% cotton. One year we used some string that had polyester in it. And it looked more like the 4th of July than Christmas because it would spurt and stop and spurt and stop. Not too pretty. We learned our lesson. So at any rate, but now I need to get this wick in all 8 holes, and that's the job of the stringer. So she has a little implement here. It's got a little tiny hook on the end, and she puts it through all 8 of these, and then she'll catch it on that with that hook. It's really a wonderful little tool. And she pulls it through like this. And then she takes another metal rod and runs up, and she's going to catch all 8 of them. I'm just doing it with the one to show you. And then she's going to have to gather all of those strings like this when she turns it over so they just don't fall through. And then she's going to do about 3 or 4 twists so that she has one nicely unified wick in the center of her candle. So about like that. And then she's going to open it up. And now I'm going to be pouring really hot wax in here in just a minute. We want the wax to stay in the mold and make candles. So we need a stopper, and the stopper is just white t-shirt material. So we put it in here. We can reuse that stopper over and over again unless either A, it gets too holy to stop it, or B, it gets too waxy and that keeps it from stopping it. So this one is great. So now she's going to do a double loop. So once and then twice, and she'll pull it really tight. I'm just doing it kind of shortly for we use about, I think we use about 3,500 candles on Christmas Eve, but they're already made, and they're already decorated, and they're ready, sitting on shelves over in the church, and they're ready. And on Christmas Eve, we have 4 services at 11, 2:35, and 7:45, so they're all ready to go. We make about, I think this year for the tea, we started with about 3,300 candles, and we'll make all during the tea. So now I'm going to take the excess wax off the top. Remember I told you I overflowed a little bit? See how nicely that came off? That helps me to think, well, maybe this mold is ready to be pulled out. If it were kind of like mushy in my hands, then I might think, oh, it's a little bit warm. Maybe we'll wait a minute. So this one feels good. And now we're going to see if we can get this out. So I'm a little bit stronger with my right hand, so I'll start on this side all the time. And I'm just going to exert gentle pressure. See how my thumb is going down like that? I'm just going to push against, I'm going to pull with these fingers and push with my thumb down and try to get these out. So I'm going to tell you all that if you think about something really, really nice that you can do for somebody else this Christmas, then I think these candles will think, this is a nice group to come be part of. So maybe I'll join them. So if I jerked, then I could break the string and then I would leave the candle in there. But if I pulled and the mold was too hot, I would pull out the string and leave the candle in there, wickless candle in there. But now you guys must have had really, really wonderful flowers.
This is my favorite part right here.
For the next part of the tour, you're led into the kitchen, where you learn how all the food was prepared with an open flame. Now there's 3 things that the Moravians are very famous for. One thing is their Moravian sugar cake. The other is Moravian cookies. And last is their uniquely cooked coffee. Though you'd never know it by tasting it, but the Moravian sugar cake is actually made from mashed potatoes. And what makes the Moravian coffee so unique is how the cream and the sugar is cooked right from the very beginning. For the next part of the tour, you are led down into the cellar. Now this cellar is about 6 feet underground and the walls are extremely thick. So no matter what time of year, this place is extremely cold. This was used originally to store things like meat and things that needed to be preserved for a while. Once you get down there, you will see what is known as a putz. This is a replica of Salem back in the old days. This display takes about 3 months to set up, and it's set up and taken down every year. The final room is set up like a small theater, where you see a display of the Nativity. There the Christmas story is read as various parts of the stage are lit up to tell the story. With all the celebrations and fun activities, It's extremely important that we never forget what Christmas is really all about. One of the things that we do to raise money for our channel is we sell these beautiful prints of places that we've been before that people use in their decorating for their home or their camper. We're going to do something a little bit different. Even though Western North Carolina's not in the news anymore, there's a lot of recovery efforts still going on and they still need a lot of help. So this particular picture of Lake Lure from Chimney Rock from before Hurricane Helene hit, that is on our website right now, and anyone that's willing to make a donation to help Western North Carolina will receive a print of this particular photo. So if you want to do something to help out Western North Carolina, this is one thing that you can do and get something in return. So go to thecampercouple.com and you'll see all the information that you need to make your donation there.